Welcome to BlackScreenStories. My name is Austin. If you know me, you know I've lifeguarded birthday parties before. I worked at a park district that had a whole weight room, indoor track, basketball court, and also an indoor pool. Which is they had lap swimming, and also on the weekends they had birthday parties, which would last for 2 hours and would end at the end of the day. So if the building on Sunday closed at 2, the party would go from noon to 2. And every time we would always tell the parents, hey, when do you want your kids to get out of the pool? So you can make sure they're all dried off and they can leave. Most of them were pretty good since it was a birthday party, so they had cake and presents. So like, oh, well, have them go till 1:30, then we'll have them dry off, we'll do cake and presents. Like, all right, that sounds great. There was one party that, it was amazing. The parents are like, hey, they'll swim till 1, and then you can kick them out of the pool so we can do all this stuff in there. I'm like, thank you. You just made my job so much easier. And it was me and another lifeguard, because there was 2 of us. We'd be at each end of the pool, which was like a normal, kind of like high school sized pool. It's 25 yards long, and I guess it probably wasn't a full 6 lanes, so I think it was like maybe 4 lanes, so a little thinner, but it was enough pool for 2 people. And we had the guard chairs where every so often we would walk around and switch. It was a pretty good system we had going on. There was one party where I talked to the mom. I'm like, hey, just so you know, your party's from noon to 2. At 2 o'clock, the building is closed. So when do you want us to have the kids get out of the pool? Do you want them to get like a half hour early? What do you want? Trying to get like their opinion on it. And she's like, oh, well, the party ends at 2, so they get out at 2. And I'm like, well, the building closes at 2, so you need to be out of the building at 2. And she's doing the whole thing like, well, I paid till 2, so we'll stay till 2. Like, I ain't dealing with this. So we had a radio, and I'm like, hey, boss. They're like, what's up? Do you mind talking to the birthday parents because they want to stay in the water till 2? And us as the lifeguards, we want to go home. And you as the supervisor of the building also wants to go home. You might want to talk to them. So he comes down, talks to them. And then he talks to me. He's like, hey, they're staying till 2. I'm like, that is great, but whatever. Because even though it was easy money, easy job, it's like I didn't want to spend my entire weekend watching these stupid kids in the water. Luckily, I never had to save anyone. My coworker did once. I was in like the deeper end. She was swimming at the shallower end. And there's this little girl who was trying to like crawl along the side. She got a little too deep to where her feet couldn't touch. Started being in distress. The lifeguard, she blows her whistle, jumps in, saves the girl. Like, hey, stay on this side. Don't go over there. Kid's like, oh yeah, of course. She was, the girl was very nice about it. She wasn't like being rude. And then I'm like, hey, do you want to... So I walked over to switch sides. Because how lifeguarding works is one person gets up from their side, go to the person. The second person gets down from their spot. The first person sits down, and then the second person goes around. That way, everyone's always watching the water. So as I go over to her, I'm like, how do you feel? And she was so mad. She had to actually jump in the water. There was one time where I showed up, and I guess I technically wasn't scheduled. I'm like, hey, I will work this upcoming birthday party. And I was never told no. So I showed up and it was 3 of us. We worked, and the grandfather of the birthday boy gave us $100 as a tip. And it's like, thank you, sir. Usually we don't get tips. Sometimes we get cake or a cupcake. One time me and the other lifeguard, we got Jimmy John's because they ordered like the platter. That was nice. So this guy, he hands us $100. Trying to do like the sly like handshake, and the money's in the hand. And we're just 3 teenagers going, we don't have the ability to break $100 bill 3 ways. So we go to a Dunkin' Donuts, which was right down the road, and they ordered like a coffee, which broke it up, and we were able to do that. That's pretty nice. Oh, it's always nice when you get a little extra money. I think the lessons were a lot better than the parties. But either way, if you are having a birthday party and it says that the party ends at this time, and that's also the closing for the building, just get out of the building. No one wants to be there past closing. Either way, leave. It'll make everyone happier. Enjoy this video. See you next time. Sorry for wasting your time.